Hello, viewers. My name still remains Nkeiru Nwosu. In today's episode, we'll be looking at some manipulation tactics. That is the strategies that abusers use to manipulate and control and gain dominance over others. Number one is gaslighting. Gaslighting is manipulating someone to doubt their own sanity of reality. That is, something happened. Then the manipulator will want their victim to doubt that that thing really happened by them denying or distorting what happened. For example, we have Fred and Cynthia. They've been dating for about 1 year now. Fred works with a private advertising firm. He's their digital marketing manager. He's in charge of developing and implementing their digital marketing strategies. While Cynthia works with an oil and gas firm, she's the human resource personnel. She's in charge of recruitment, training, and managing the employees. Fred first met Cynthia at a conference they both attended. They both attended the conference and they met there. And he immediately fell in love with her. But he did not have the courage to approach her at that time. Then he summoned the boldness to call her. Surprisingly, she was glad that he reached out to her because she also noticed him at the conference and piqued interest in him also. And she was checking him out secretly. Both of them looked good together. But the only problem is that Cynthia earned more than Fred. And that affected Fred's self-confidence. Fred did not believe he could date a high-class and independent lady like Cynthia. He often felt insecure whenever they both go out on a date. But she tells him to calm down and not be scared not be scared of the difference in their financial status. He encourages him to feel free and behave like the man in the relationship. She allows him to take some financial decisions, even some of them that she has to sponsor, some such as vacations outside the country. She didn't mind. Fred became manipulative as a defense mechanism because of his insecurity and uneasiness. He began to gaslight Cynthia. One day, he told Cynthia that his mom will be visiting him, so she should not expect him to visit her over that weekend because he will be taking his mom to the doctor for her health issues. He gave Cynthia the impression that he will be busy and away for that weekend. So Cynthia made the weekend plans just for herself. She cooked her favorite meal. She planned to stay at home all the weekend and watch her favorite TV show. Surprisingly, Fred showed up on the Saturday morning and Cynthia was shocked because she never planned to see him. She never thought of him visiting. Amazingly, Fred denied telling Cynthia that his mom will be visiting him that weekend. But she was very sure that he told her that. She's not mistaken to think that Fred will not visit her for the weekend and then she planned the weekend all for herself. What manipulators who use gaslighting tactics enjoy is the confusion they have created in the mind of their targets. They love it when their target is confused and acting like something has gone nuts in their head. Fred was really enjoying the control he was having over Cynthia's emotions. Another time, Fred told Cynthia that her car had developed a fault and he would be taking it over to her mechanic. 2 days later, Cynthia saw the mechanic and asked him what was wrong with the car that Fred brought. The mechanic denied seeing the car or Fred. He said Fred did not bring the car and it was about 3 months ago he worked on her car last, not recently. When Cynthia asked Fred which mechanic he took her car to, he denied telling her the car was faulty. She was confused as usual, doubting if she did not hear him well. This is exactly what Fred enjoys about gaslighting Cynthia, to get her in a state of confusion. This gives him the false sense of being in control because he is controlling her emotions, and that is just what he wants to be enjoying. Since he cannot control her any other way, let him be controlling her emotions, let him be controlling her feelings, let him be seeing her being confused, because that gives him the sense of superiority over her. And that is what manipulators that use gaslighting gain. That is their gain. It gives them that sense of superiority over their victims. The next manipulation tactics is guilt tripping. Guilt tripping is when the manipulator causes someone to feel guilty because of a decision or an action the person has taken. An example is Ken. Ken is a businessman. He owns a factory that produces shoe sandals. His factory uses specialized mechanism for each production stage, so his sandals are very high quality. He supports small businesses by creating collaborative opportunities on distribution of the sandals, and he makes custom-made sandals for these small businesses. So he helped a businessman named Timothy to grow through this collaboration, and they became very close friends. In fact, they were more than friends. When Ken indicated his interest in marrying Timothy's younger sister Anne, both families welcomed the idea of Ken marrying Anne. Anne's family believed that it will make Ken to continue supporting Timothy's business. Ken also encouraged and sponsored Anne to go back to school, to university, and to do her master's so she can get a better job, which she did. 3 years into their marriage with 2 children, a boy and a girl, Ken's attitude towards Anne changed. Ken always reminded Anne how much he has helped her family, how he's the one that has established her brother's business. He even told her that he was the one who saved Timothy from going to jail when a company he partnered with, they were fraudsters and he did not know. So they used his business, his company, to do money laundering. Ken wants Anne to be doing all the house chores alone without a help, and she's still managing her business. She cooks, she takes care of the children. Oftentimes it is exhausting for her. When she resists his advances to make out in the night, he will start reminding her of all the things he has done for her and her family. He will say things like, after everything I've done for you and your family, you have the mind to resist me. You're so heartless. You're so insensitive. You're this, you're that. And even when she's sick, he'll still be guilt-tripping her into fulfilling his pleasures. One time, she was admitted in the hospital because of stress-related high blood pressure. Yet, despite all this, Ken refused to let Anne have a house help. He always expects her to be the one that will handle everything in the house, including cooking his meals on a daily basis and still fulfilling her conjugal obligations, according to him. Most times, Ken's demands are so unreasonable, but then he will guilt trip her into doing his bidding, or she will look like a bad person. Sometimes Ken will report Anne to her brother Timothy, who already feels indebted to Ken. So what can poor Timothy do? He will just tell the sister to go along with the husband's wish, to obey her husband. So poor Anne, guilty conscience, that is what Ken always wants, guilt-tripping her into stressing herself. He doesn't consider her health, no matter what, even when she's sick. That is what guilt trippers do. The third manipulation tactics is silent treatment. Silent treatment is when the manipulator punishes their victim by withholding communication or connection with them, with the aim of controlling the person's emotion and behavior. When they withhold the connection, when they withhold the communication, they want their victim or their target to be wondering, oh, what have I done wrong? Oh, how have I offended this person? That is just their aim, to make the person to be wondering. So they control the person's emotion and behavior. An example is Martin. Martin has been married to Julie for 6 years, and they have a daughter who is more than 5 years old already. Friends and family believe it's time for them to have a second child or even a third one on the way, or at least she should be pregnant with the second one. Martin and Julie have consulted several specialists to find the solution to Julie's health issue. The doctors found out that Julie had a problem with her fallopian tube when she gave birth to the first pregnancy. And Martin, on the other hand, is under pressure from his parents, especially his mom, to have a son because he's the only child. The onus now lies on him to carry on his father's lineage, and he's beginning to crack under the pit. So it is also affecting his marriage. The pressure is beginning to affect him and the way he relates to his wife. He wants to marry a second wife who will bear him a son. But his wife, Julie, keeps telling him that she has hope, that she's undergoing treatment, and she's the one that will bear him that son that he so desires. Martin's lifestyle changed. He does not tell Julie his movements. He keeps saying it that concerning what he does these days, just because she's not in support of him marrying another wife or seeking for a son from another woman. He now comes home very late at night, and sometimes he stays away for days. Even the days he comes home is mostly to fight and to argue, and he will end up not talking to her for weeks following. Even the little time they spend together in conversation often end up in disagreements and quarreling, because Martin always finds a way to bring up the issue of him having a son, of him marrying a second wife, of him getting a son from another woman. Julie has so much trust in the medical treatment she's taking, she's receiving at the hospital, but Martin is pessimistic about it, coupled with the pressure from his family. Julie wishes he could stop ignoring her and sit down, let them discuss it. Let them discuss how to have a son together. If her mind is rested, then she can bear a child for him. But he doesn't mind. He keeps giving her the silent treatment. Some days he will not mind her, he will not talk to her. Martin is using silent treatment to make Julie to feel shut out, and then she will now agree to him marrying another wife. He feels that when he's giving her the silent treatment, she will feel shut out, then she will long for his connection, she will long for his closeness, and then she will now agree. He's using silent treatment to make her to be desperate for things to get back to where it was before, when they were close, when they were really close together. Martin is using silent treatment to make Julie to desire that things should get back the way it was before, so that she will agree for him to marry a second wife and do the bidding, and then let them start connecting and conversing as before. The next manipulation tactics we are going to talk about is emotional blackmail. This is when the manipulator threatens the victim, their victim or their target, about withdrawing attention. They are going to withdraw their emotions from them. They are going to withdraw their feeling, their affection, their love and their support, just to make the victim do what they wish, just to make the victim or their target do what they want them to do. That is how they gain their control. This example is about Caleb and May. They've been sweethearts since undergraduate years at the university. After their graduation, both of them got high desirable jobs in reputable firms with high-ranking positions. It was not surprising to everyone that they decided to get married soon after graduation and getting jobs, since they were financially well off and they can start building their family. Their wedding was picture perfect. It depicted nothing but true love. May gave birth to their first son 1 year after their wedding. The addition of the son to the young family they were building seems like it spiced up their union. To the outside world, they appeared to bond seamlessly as the couple showered their child with so much love and affection. Caleb gave the impression that he understood the challenges that May was going through as a new mother, while she maintained her job and kept the home front intact. May had to resign from her job when she was pregnant for their second child. Soon after the second child was given birth to, things took a different turn. the situation at home changed for the worse. Caleb was no longer the patient and understanding husband he used to be. Now they have two toddlers running around the house, and May is no longer the elegant and classy wife she was when she was working. She no longer works 9 to 5 and doesn't bring home income. A lot of things changed, and Caleb is still trying to get used to the changes. Meanwhile, the only way he knows how to handle it is by shutting down on his love and affection towards his wife. May have tried several times to make Caleb understand the challenges she's facing at home, trying to put up with the kids, keep the house in order, and still maintain her sanity. It is not easy for someone who has gotten to the level she reached in the corporate ladder to just sacrifice her career for the sake of raising her children. Caleb was not interested in May's explanation. He rather gave her the condition to either return to the corporate world and get another job, or they will separate. He suggested they get a nanny to take care of the children and put a temporary halt on childbearing. Caleb wants them to make more money from the corporate world with lots of investments before both of them would retire. It appears like Caleb never wanted them to start having children too soon after their wedding. Hence, after the birth of their second child, he could no longer hold his forbearance, and he became insensitive and unloving towards May. Their union that once portrayed boundless love is now marked by indifference and coldness, and this was tearing May apart emotionally, and she could not hold herself anymore. The more she tried for Caleb to reason with her, the more he threatened their marriage with divorce. Caleb is using divorce as a leverage to manipulate May into getting back to work 9 to 5 and getting a nanny for the kids. He knows that it will be very difficult for May to consider divorce. He chose to dominate the decision with threats of divorce rather than a mutual consent or agreement, which is a sign of emotional manipulation. No. He chose to dominate May's decision with threats of divorce. He would have chosen mutual consent or agreement, but he chose divorce because he's using it as an emotional manipulation. With this, we have come to the end of our discussion today on the first 4 manipulative tactics. Please, if you're yet to follow us, don't forget to follow us, and don't also forget to share and like. And if you have any question or anything you want to contribute about the manipulation or the manipulative tactics, please share with us in the comment section below. Thank you.